Okay, just got done seeing Nancy Drew.
And the Hidden Staircase.
And the Hidden Staircase, which is a movie basically aimed at tween girls, if you ask me.
Well, just like the books were.
Just like the books were.
The books by Kieron.
Kind of hard for me to review a movie that it really isn't intended for me, you know, in a certain way, because I don't know if a tween girl would even like this.
Well, I have to say that, like, it's been updated, obviously, because I didn't read a lot of Nancy Drew books. I think I did read this one, like, when I was a kid. I was more a Three Investigators person and the Trixie Building and that kind of stuff. But I love mysteries. Now, like I said, if I had been a tween girl when this came out, I'd probably been all over this shit.
Yeah, you'd have liked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like there's a lot more. It's a short movie. There was a lot more going on than I thought. There was like 3 different plot lines like going
Yeah, it was kind of convoluted.
That they all kind of like intersected.
Yeah, eventually came together.
But I don't know. I thought it was pretty cute. Like the girl that's in it, Sophia Lillis. That's the same girl that played Beverly in It Chapter 1.
Yeah.
And you know, she's cute. She's cute as a button. So she's got like a real good.
How old is she really? She's supposed to be 16, but she
looks about that.
Okay, her friend Helen looks old. In some shots, looks old enough to drink.
Yeah.
She looks like she's about 21 sometimes.
Yeah. Well, they do that a lot.
Yeah.
But I do think so. I'm not sure how old she is actually, but she looks very close to the age that she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Also, Linda Lavin was in this. She played like she was on Alice. You
remember that?
I remember. Like back in the old day.
Right.
It's like I didn't even know she was still alive. Yeah. I know that's terrible. But she was in this like playing like a saucy old lady that used to be a burlesque dancer called, was it Strawberry something?
I don't know. It didn't matter.
It was funny as hell. But this was like I said, you know, it's gonna like be good for like a certain demographic. Like I said, probably tween girls will probably eat this up. Probably not so much anyone else. It kind of like, it struck me as like a similar tone to remember the Goosebumps movie that we saw, the Halloween one? Like same kind of age. This wasn't as zany.
No, not quite as fun.
It wasn't like as crazy.
This actually had some at certain times the tone was serious.
Yeah.
But it was weird how that sometimes didn't really mesh with the kind of juvenile humor. You know what I mean? The tween humor that was in the beginning.
Yeah,
it was weird too. Another thing that was weird about the movie is that the very beginning kind of got bogged down into some scenes that really didn't have to be there, and some story elements that really didn't have to be there. Like, you know, her aunt didn't have to be in the movie. There was some characters that didn't need to be there, and so the start of the film seemed slow to me. And I could see it seemed like stuff that, like the whole thing about doing the prank on the bully guy, you really didn't even need that seemed to kind of slow it down. Yeah, because it didn't pick up until she got involved with the haunted house.
With the haunted house, yeah.
That's kind of where it picked up, and I was thinking, like, why did they even have that first 10 minutes?
It's like, I'm not sure. Like I said, I read the book so long ago, like when I was a kid, so I don't remember if that was actually part of the book or not, like that whole setup. Yeah. I know that they were trying to set up like her character as like she was kind of like this righteous person, like standing up for the underdog and stuff, but I think they could have done that like in a shorter sequence.
It also tried to make a political statement in the very beginning about diversity. It's supposed to be kind of like a pro-diversity statement, but you really could interpret it to be quite the opposite. They were trying to keep the train from coming into the town because they didn't want darker elements. You know what I'm talking about? Well, the aunt said, no, we need these darker, more dangerous elements coming in from New York because that will liven up the town. Okay, because the town is boring and backwards, and it was just kind of like, wait a minute, hold on, what are they talking about? They're saying that dark people are dangerous. That was how. What are you talking about?
Well, because it kind of reminded me, like I said, this book was written such a long time ago, and it's been updated, like I said, but I don't remember like what elements of it are from that or not. But I didn't really get that from it. It was just, to me, it seemed like the standard like 80s land developing kind of scheme.
Yeah.
So
I'm so suspicious. I'm so suspicious of these new movies because they insert stuff like that in all the time. You're supposed to interpret it in a certain way, and if that was an older element from the other movie, it kind of makes more sense. But I was trying to interpret the message from the modern, interpretation of what you're supposed to think, and it kind of threw me for a loop. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. They're saying diversity is bad. Because her dad was supposed to be a good guy. Her dad was supposed to be a good guy, and his whole mission was to prevent the train from coming through.
Right. Yeah.
The bad guys were trying to force the train into the town. They were willing to. One of them was willing to kill a guy to get the train to come into town. So the dark, their words, dark, dangerous elements from New York could destroy the town. Basically. That's what it said.
She didn't say dark. She said dangerous or edgy or something like that.
I thought she said dark and dangerous.
No, that's not what she said.
Okay.
But,
that was still, it still stands.
To me, that didn't really occur to me. I don't look for that kind of stuff.
I didn't either. It's just that it said that though, and I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
I figured that it was probably like a slightly updated version of some kind of like I said, a land development scheme, which was a lot in the '80s movies and a lot of those kind of things.
Yeah.
They wanted to like tear down the nice houses in the town, blah blah blah. So that's, like I said, I just kind of took it with that and just kind of went.
Yeah. Well, they did stop the train though. They stopped the subversive elements from coming into the town.
Like I said, I don't remember what was in the book or anything, and I think you're just like overthinking it.
Well, I was probably overthinking it, but they've conditioned me to overthinking it.
I'm not conditioned, so
okay.
I didn't overthink it.
Because I'm always about, well, what kind of virtue are they telling me here? You know what I mean? But other than that, the movie was just is not for me. It was.
Yeah, I think probably like young girls would like.
Yeah, maybe. I think maybe they.
She's such a good actress, and she's such a charming like character that and I feel like they're trying to set it up because there were 40 bajillion Nancy Drew books. I don't know how many there were, but there were a shit ton.
They're gonna have to be replacing Nancy Drews every 2 or 3 years then.
Well, yeah, because they're gonna age 30, out of the role,
right.
Because you're gonna be 30 years old.
You'd be like 30 being Nancy Drew.
Tween girl mystery.
Yeah, riding around on a skateboard.
That was another thing. There was like kind of like a lot of 90s nostalgia. It was mostly at the beginning because at first I thought it was set in the 90s because she had like a little, she had a little plaid shirt on and it was kind of like a 90s-y sounding.
No, they had cell phones and stuff.
But yeah, then when they got it, it was like modern day. But I was like, wow, it's like Captain Marvel had that too. Like I guess 90s nostalgia is.
There should have been more of the. Haunted house stuff. Should have been a lot more. That should have been a lot longer.
Yeah, I think they probably should have focused more on.
Yeah, it should have been almost kind of like a haunted house movie for most of it, and done like the Scooby-Doo routine, where at the end you find out that it's all fake, and then you wrap it up quickly. And they didn't wrap it up quickly enough.
Well, because like I said, there was a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of other shit that was going on.
They were kind of all related, but sort of not.
So, me personally, I'm going to give it a thumbs down. But it wasn't for me. Maybe a tween girl might like it.
Yeah, I think they probably will.
Okay. Okay, we just got done seeing one called, what was this called again?
We're kind of cheating because it's not a new movie.
Not a new movie,
This is Cruel Intentions.
Cruel Intentions.
From 1999.
Yeah.
On its 20th anniversary, they are rerunning it in theaters. I didn't know if you guys knew that or not. But actually, it's like new to me because I never saw it back then.
I didn't see it back then either.
So we thought, why the hell not? Because otherwise, we would have had to see that terrible cystic fibrosis movie.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to see that.
This is basically
it's
Dangerous Liaisons. It's actually based on the same French book and everything. The story's, I think, pretty much
almost
the same.
Identical. Yeah.
And some of the scenes were identical, pretty much.
Pretty much. A lot of the dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's updated. It's set in 1999. It's set in like upper crust New York, like prep school.
Yeah, and they're like in
these
fucking beautiful palaces and shit down in New York. And everybody's young and beautiful in it and everything. They are filthy fucking rich. And
also terrible.
Yeah, two scandalous. Two scandalous fucking step siblings, step brother and a step sister, and they're fuck demons basically. And they have this bet going, and where she wants to destroy this innocent girl who her boyfriend or one of her conquests ran after, and then he wants to take the virginity of this girl who doesn't want to give it up to anybody, and so they make this bet. You know, if he can get her, then he can screw the stepsister because he's never screwed her, and if he can't get her, then he's got to give up his car.
Yeah, his most prized possession.
Yeah, and that's just the begin. That's just the setup. This shit gets twisted, you know. And if you haven't seen Dangerous Liaisons, you want to see that one too. You know,
I mean, there's several versions of it. There's one called Valmont. There's one called Dangerous Liaisons, which was actually my favorite. The one with Glenn Close in it.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's. I've read the play that this was based on, like the book and play, and this is like an endlessly adaptable story. It's just such a great story. Just like people, just these horrible people, just like manipulating everyone around them, and like what happens to them. And honestly, I have to say that I'm shocked that I didn't see this back in 1999 because I was all about Dangerous Liaisons.
Yeah, it's killer movie. It's all-star cast.
Super fun.
Really cool
super
set.
Delicious kind of. If you love that kind of shit.
Yeah. Acting's good.
Yeah, you will love this.
Soundtrack's really good, and the score that's behind it, because it's got a lot of really good late '90s music in it. You know, Gen Xers know exactly what what they're inferring with these songs when they put them on. I remember that.
I like what they did to it too, because it seemed like they leaned into the camp factor. And they made it's very funny. It was like much funnier than I was. I mean, original Dangerous Liaisons was kind of funny too, like in a
funny
sly,
and cruel
kind of way. But it's just funny. I'd never seen this adaptation because I'd seen like a bunch of other adaptations, but I ended up really liking it. It was like really cool, like seeing it on the big screen. Yeah, it's like I didn't really expect to see it. Yeah,
going back in time and seeing that old 90s,
like, hey, why not?
90s computers and 90s phones and stuff. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely go see it.
Yeah.
Okay, just got done seeing Us, which was it was a horror movie, and I thought it was going to be kind of like a paranormal horror movie.
Yeah.
Turns out it was a science fiction. Horror sci-fi.
But like I said, Get Out was like that too. Yeah. So it's like a similar. It's not the same premise but I'm not going to spoil too much of it.
No, I can't spoil it.
I mean, you can tell kind of the simplistic premise what's going on from the trailers.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more.
There's a whole lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, and man, just hard not to spoil this one. It has a lot of elements from old movies from the 80s and the 90s, but it's done really well. If you see what I'm talking about, you know, it starts off almost a little bit like The Shining, in a way, where they're going to a place for a vacation. It's kind of like going to the Overlook, but there are friends there, and it's just too hard to explain.
That's what I mean. It's like I almost don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, you know, the premise of it is kind of in the trailer, but there's like a lot more on top of it, like the reason why this is happening and all this other kind of stuff. Also, I really, really liked. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, obviously, that there was a lot of humor in this because, you know, Jordan-Peele started out in comedy, and there was humor in his other movie as well. But there was a lot of humor in this, and I think it really like enhanced the horror a lot because like the family was so endearing because they were so funny and they were like.
That was part of what I was trying to say about kind of like there's a little bit of a throwback to this, you know, because. You know, Nightmare on Elm Street had humor in it, and a lot of good movies from the 80s and the 90s that were horror had humor in them. But it wasn't so much to where it spoiled the horror aspect.
Yeah, like I said, when done well, it can actually like the two things enhance each other, and I think that really was the case in this movie because, like I said, you just related so much to the family, like at the center of it. You know, because they were wisecracking and stuff, probably like most people would be because of this bizarre, because the whole situation is just so bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just such a bizarre premise.
The movie's it's a very strange premise, and we can't really say much about it because it's stealing its thunder. But I do recommend the movie. I think it's a good movie.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and it seemed like our theater was full, and I think the showing before it was full, and they're showing it in like 2 or 3 theaters.
Yeah. I didn't expect the movie to go the way that it went, and it was
Yeah,
it was good.
I really like I said, I've seen enough trailers. I knew kind of what it was about, but it goes off in a lot of directions that you don't really expect.
Yeah, and you don't really expect the scope to be very big. There's the movie's got a much bigger scope. You'll see what I'm talking about when you see it.
That surprised me as well. But I would definitely recommend this. I really liked this.
Yeah, go see it. Go see it.
Yeah.